Good evening. This is New British Promotions. My name is Damien Stone, and I'm joined tonight by the embodiment of opulence himself, Mr. Simon G. Money.
Thank you very much, Damo. I am really excited to be here, not just because I get to see an action-packed evening of professional wrestling, but because I get to do my favourite thing in the world, and that is scout out new talent.
But we'll hand it over to our ring announcer for this evening, Gav Kilner. Well, a very interesting tag team starting us off here tonight. The Living Nightmare Spawn and Alexander Romanov.
Looks like Romanov is trying to get to the head of the audience tonight. This is what he's going to do with the audience. What's he going to do with his opponents? They're not going to know what to do. Spawn literally laughing in the face of children. This is why I admire this man.
He certainly does seem to have a little bit of more of a sour attitude there. Maybe some of this, maybe some of the attitude of Alexander Romanov is rubbing off a little bit onto the Living Nightmare.
Or it could be that he's where we are tonight. In Ryhill, it's absolutely awful here, and I cannot believe you dragged me down all this way, and I can see why he's upset. Because just look at the people in the audience tonight. Not showing the correct respect for the people coming out to put their bodies on the line. Absolutely despicable. I am on Spawn's side here.
Hey, they've paid their money, they can cheer and boo who they like. And the reception that they're getting from the audience here in the glorious town of Ryhill is not very favourable, to say the least.
I'll tell you what is going to be glorious. It's not Ryhill, but the action is going to be in the ring during this match.
In a massive contrast to the very serious and very dour Alexander Romanov and Spawn, we have here microphone and strap.
I mean, this man really is live and in living colour.
He certainly is. I've got one of those jackets at home.
Well, of course you do. Of course you do. If the people at home could see what you're wearing right now, they would understand exactly why I'm saying that as well. They say I dress flamboyantly.
Well, you know, sometimes you've got to bring a little bit of style, a little bit of panache to proceedings.
I think he's got a little bit overboard here. But look, as you can see, he's wearing all the colour for his team. His partner, no colour at all.
Well, it balances out evenly.
So they've turned the contrast down on him. Look at him sucking up to the audience. Good Lord.
Have you ever been to the strap side?
I've never been to the strap side, and you cannot make me.
And the bell is rung, we're underway here. Microphone in with a quick, cheeky little roll up there, but again, going in again, trying to get that quick victory over Romanov.
Very tight magistral cradle. It looks like he's actually thrown out Alexander Romanov off his game a little bit there. Could say he's made him a little bit out of tune.
Certainly has, yeah. It's taken. And now we've got Spawn in with Strap.
This is why you know you can't trust a man. He's wearing a mask in the ring. He's hiding his face. He's hiding his identity.
But again, that's that can certainly work to the advantage of Strap, and I mean it could also work to his disadvantage.
It's a completely unfair advantage, if you ask me. You should be able to see the face of the man that you're wrestling.
You tell that to half of Mexico, sir.
Well, hang on a minute.
Great continuity there with that wheelbarrow into a splash, and Microphone gets the 2 over the Living Nightmare.
Well, I think the referee should have been getting him out of the ring just that little bit quicker.
Straight power slam.
All it took was one quick maneuver for Spawn to take the advantage.
And right now,
that's why he's just muscling into the mat.
He's showing that strength that he's got and that power that we've seen develop up in the northeast, and I think working together with Romanov, it looks like they could very well.
Maybe we were quick to jump to conclusions. It looks like the chemistry between these two is just fine.
Yeah, it looks like it could very well be a thing, as the Irins say these days.
Good Lord, you've never sounded older to me. But it's a veritable science lesson going on as they're teaching them what chemistry is all about.
Most definitely. A double clothesline just taking the air straight out of Microphone. Spawn with a bit of a nonchalant cover there again. I think that was more just to have Microphone expend some energy as opposed to try and get a decisive victory.
So that's the thing about wrestling that people don't quite understand. Not everything is about picking up the win. It's about wearing out your opponent so that you can pick that win up later on. He didn't expect to win with that, but he certainly made him work regardless.
Speaking of working, Alexander Romanov is now working on the neck of Microphone behind the back of the referee, leaving him prone for Spawn to take over.
Which is the smartest thing they could do. Spawn now holding him there. That's right, you knocked that masked freak down.
Strap just taken off the apron there. I don't know if we saw that, but Alexander Romanov choking out Microphone in the corner.
Not going to be doing many melodies now with a broken throat, is he?
Definitely not. I mean, that larynx is a big part of Microphone's repertoire.
It looks like he's about to break it.
Certainly does there. Romanov just kneeling and putting all of his weight on the back of the neck over the ropes, and Spawn again in behind the back of the referee while Romanov takes out Strap on the other side.
See, that's the thing. When the referee's looking, you've got to count to 5. If the referee can't see it, you can go as long as you want.
That's true. The referee can't. He can only call what he sees. And as good a referee as James here is, he doesn't have 2 sets of eyes.
There's one thing I've learned in professional wrestling is that a referee could really do with a rear view mirror.
As long as they don't go down the route of the referee cam, that was one of the darker periods in professional wrestling. But
let's not talk about that period.
Yeah,
it's like VAR in football. Speaking of, he could have done with a yellow card by slamming him into the corner like that.
Most definitely.
Maybe a slam, but an absolute slamming.
Now Spawn. Just with a brilliant uppercut in the corner. Just that absolutely jarring to the jaw. Oh, a chop. That sounded like a gunshot going off here at Rye Hill.
And it only took one to really wipe out Microphone.
Right now, Romanoff again in with the distraction, and now again just leading on Microphone, and the two of them now just.
This is perfect tag team cohesion. What they're doing is they're locking him off on their side of the ring, not letting him get to his partner, which is where his salvation is. I think you might be right. These two may even become a thing.
And if that is the case, then certainly
big gut wrench suplex there.
The tag team division will be on notice, but Romanoff again a little bit too confident, a little bit too overconfident and cocky there.
We certainly thought that was going to end it. What has he got left in that bag of tricks?
Strap's trying to rally the crowd here on behalf of Microphone.
Well, he's been completely useless so far.
Mike's battling back. And the lariat.
But that took a lot out of him. It looks like, nope, he's not going to let him get to that corner. He's got his foot. It looks like that energy that he expended throwing in that big clothesline was all for naught.
Yep, absolutely anchored to the floor there by Romanoff.
Big gut kick there. If you can't breathe, you can't fight.
Exactly.
You can wind him in that corner. That'll stop him from being able to get back to his own corner.
And the only way he's going to get a breather is to get to that corner, and as you see there, with Spawn,
whatever was left of the air in his lungs is being slapped right out of it.
Oh no, it looks like Microphone's having none of that. In with a bulldog attempt, but thrown off by Spawn. Again, the power and just a brutal kick to the spine.
That's twice he's gone for that bulldog in the corner, and twice now he's had it completely thwarted.
I think he needs to come up with a new game plan here, to be honest.
Because it looks like Spawn has scouted him.
Just the two. Microphone up.
Almost got there.
But Spawn again cuts him off. Taken to a neutral corner to tag in Romanoff.
Romanoff directing traffic there from the outside. And now another double team maneuver there.
Massive assisted avalanche.
If he hits it one more time, that's going to be it.
Nobody home, no water in the pool. And out of desperation, a jumping back elbow from Microphone. And now he's got to get to Strap, and Strap's got to be in the right place. He's got a little bit of happy feet going on here as Strap. I know he's excited.
Energy drink.
I know he's excited, but he's got to stay in that place to get the tag.
And here he comes for the first time since the beginning of the match.
And he's absolutely demolishing both Spawn and Romanoff. Massive splash. And another. And another.
There's no stopping him.
No, this is a veritable express train that can't be halted.
Except by Alexander Romanov.
He took a little bit too much time there to play up to the audience. And
big miscommunication.
Is that a shotgun drop kick? Went wrong.
And that springboard bulldog.
Strap as
that spinning side slam. Wow, he almost put him through the ring.
And that's it. Strap and Microphone get the victory here in the first match of New British Promotions. They've seen off the team of Alexander Romanov and Spawn, but that spinning side slam.
Well, I'll give credit where credit's due. That was some power from Strap.
Certainly was. I mean, you can still see the scars on the chest from those chops from Spawn on microphone. But Strap, I mean, to be honest, Strap essentially saved it for him there, and it looks like there's a little bit of miscommunication here between a little bit of trouble in paradise between Spawn and Romanoff.
Unexpected as it was, what a victory for this team. Serenading the audience tonight, but calling themselves the champions without having championship belts in their hands. Very interesting choice. It's going to be our first look at Project Mayhem tonight. They come out on their own time.
They certainly do, and this is a gentleman that as I say, you were seem very, shall we say, enamored with.
Hang on a moment. You be quiet when Mr. Lee is speaking. He's come out microphone in hand. He clearly has something he wants to say, and you're absolutely right, Shawwal the Great. Look at this behemoth of a man.
Yeah, this gentleman, they call him the Enforcer, and just look at that.
What I'm going to do, I'm going to introduce you to one of my Project Mayhem members. And in case you don't know, Project Mayhem is the most dominant faction in British wrestling today. We've got 2 title matches tonight, and 2 champions working out here with 2 successful defenses. But before we get there, just because I'm here right now, and just because I've got a microphone, and I can do something like to you,
The disrespect from this audience.
Our first representative from the Poison Panthers tonight, in the form of Dan Domain.
Project Mayhem versus the Poison Panthers in a one-on-one capacity.
Well, you see one-on-one, Mr. Lee's there.
Oh, come on. Mr. Lee is going to be an absolute non-factor in this match because he's going to play by the rules.
Now look, Shawwal versus Dan Domain at present, that is 1.5 on 1. And then you add Mr. Lee, and it is a 2-in-1. This is a handicap match.
I mean, everybody likes a good underdog story, but my favorite story is when the underdog loses. Because that's reality. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, the underdog doesn't always win. And in this case, the man's up against a wall.
He most certainly is. I mean, would you call him an underdog or would you call him cannon fodder at this point?
I'd call him enigmatically dressed.
Yeah, I'm just looking at your leg warmers here and thinking, you know, that those tanks would go very well with us. Maybe consider asking him where he got them from.
I will do absolutely no such thing. I have my own stylist.
Shawal just absolutely overpowering and ragdolling Dan Domain across the ring.
He just grabbed him out of the corner and just chucked him. He just muscled him out. And Dan Domain's only recourse there was to go low. You saw that. That was below the belt.
Well, he's got to stick and move. He's got to stick and move in this. That's the only way you're going to get on any kind of advantage over someone the size of Shawal. And to be fair, it does actually look like it's working out for him.
Look, he's just outside having a bit of strategy. This is a strategy meeting with Mr. Lee, the brains of the operation, giving the brawn. What for?
Oh, come on.
Listen, you clearly saw that. He slipped over. Mr. Lee slipped over into Dan Domain. It was a complete accident.
That was a deliberate shoulder block. Almost a clothesline there.
Look at him, he's even apologising to the audience because that's the kind of man that Mr. Lee is.
Yeah.
Nothing illegal about an accident.
His fingers are so crossed they've gone around the opposite way.
There really should be something illegal about that chop though, wow.
Most definitely, I mean that is going to cave in a sternum.
He's going to have to peel that shirt off because I think it's now just become part of his chest.
I think so.
Here we go.
I
told you before, the choke slam is incoming. He's down. That's all she wrote.
It's, yeah, and just 1 foot. That's all. Dan Domain kicked out. Domain may have just signed his own death warrant. I guess we. Oh. The power boy, he's got him in. Oh, come on. Well,
I told you he went low earlier.
I'm not.
He's not even pretending.
Nope, returning the favour on Mr. Lee. It's oh, hang on.
Hang on a bit. Well, this is not sportsmanlike behaviour.
This is just gratuitous. I mean, I don't know where this has come from Dan Domain. He's, I mean, the match is over.
And everyone calls Mr. Lee a bad man. Look at this. And the audience are baying for blood.
I mean, the way that Mr. Lee and Project Mayhem as a whole have treated the crowd here at New British Promotions, I can understand why they're baying for blood. But this is a step too far. This is, I mean, Dan, what are you doing?
This man has snapped.
He has. He's gone off the deep end. The bats have left the belfry.
Somebody needs to get him out of this building. He's a danger not just to himself, but to everyone else.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't want to be anyone backstage at the moment, especially a member of Project Mayhem.
But see, this is what everybody's forgotten. This man is a beast. He's taken all that punishment, but remember, he is still the winner.
And after that vicious attack, he is still standing. He's back on his feet.
That is why they call him the muscle of Project Mayhem.
In the record books, this is going to go down as a defeat, as a victory for Project Mayhem. So it is a defeat for Dan Domain.
As well it should be.
But it's not one that anyone in Project Mayhem's going to be happy with.
It's what I'm not happy with. This is ridiculous.
That was...
Everybody came here tonight for sportsmanlike conduct. Dan Domain could not deliver.
I guess we'll find out in Hoyland what's next for Dan Domain. This is a team that have been formed from what seems to be some kind of Appalachian mountain based Unabomber style shack. They call Matt Maxwell the Mind of Madness. And he has unleashed these two.
So nobody quite knows what Maxwell has been doing around here in New British Promotions. He's been lurking. Only getting involved when he wants to get involved. Nobody knows why he's here. Well, I can tell you exclusively right now that this is why he's here, to bring your nightmares to life. Bo Carter, Nate Sawyer are here to deliver horror.
They certainly are. And this is... I'll be honest with you, Bo Carter himself is an intimidating man. And Nate Sawyer, you add Nate Sawyer into this mix. My friends, this is pure horror personified.
Don't annoy Bo Carter. He'll chew right through those ropes.
I'm a big fan of Aiden Sparks and a big fan of Posty Malone, but right now, this is quite possibly one of the most bizarre fights that they're going to find themselves in. It is going to be a fight. It's not going to be a match. This is going to be brutality. Don't get me wrong at all with this. Right now,
he's not even checking the address. How does he know that those letters are for the right people? Absolutely ridiculous. Somebody get a complaint into Royal Mail.
Consignia are going to they're going to be having meetings with him on Monday, or what's left of him after this.
Do you know what? He's not professional enough to work for Royal Mail. I bet he works for Every.
Well, that wouldn't surprise me.
As you can see, Bo Carter and Nate Sawyer are not too happy. But then again, when are they ever happy?
Exactly. They're only happy when it's raining blood.
Posty Malone is mocking Nate Sawyer, and I'm sure he's going to live to regret that.
Yeah, that is a big, big mistake. Posty Malone may have just made the biggest mistake of a somewhat concatenated existence. You don't turn your back on the grindhouse.
You definitely don't call Bo Carter Peppa Pig.
No, definitely not.
I don't know what episodes of Peppa Pig they've been watching. Clearly the ones that come out of Adult Swim.
It certainly looks that way. The Grindhouse just
making them pay early on for the disrespect that they've shown.
But both Posty and Aiden managed to evade them that time, and they're getting a good couple of shots in there.
Uh-oh. It looks like they've got a delivery of their own. A double delivery.
And Posty is putting the boots to Bo Carter. Aiden Sparks dropping the double axe handle and just hammering into the back of Nate Sawyer. Nate Sawyer thrown directly into that ring post.
Do not turn your back on the bad seed, because he'll give you as good as you give him. Oh!
A double chop.
Right next to us, Bo Carter is trying to put Posty Malone through the wall.
And
this has spilled right out of control.
it certainly has, and Posty Malone is on the lap of one of our audience here.
Oof. That sent a cold shiver down my spine. That was
Absolutely brutal.
well, it shows how fickle this audience is.
Certainly,
Cheering for Posty Malone when he comes out, but now they're paying for his own blood.
This is the power of the mind of madness. You see how quickly the tables can turn. Oh! And that chop.
It looks like for now the upper hand has to go to Posty Malone and Aiden Sparks.
Again, they're spending so much time like gesturing to the audience that
Are we finally going to get this match properly underway?
I mean, I was going to mention that actually. I've not heard a bell ring yet. But Nate just got his bell rung on that top turnbuckle.
Well, it looks like our referee was just being very, very lenient to start our match off. Tag team cohesion once again.
And you can see the extra little bit of nuance on that from Aiden Sparks. He hooked both legs on that cover, but it still wasn't enough to put Nate Sawyer away.
You have to do much, much more than that to get rid of the bad seed. Oh!
Special delivery, knee in the corner. And the diving lariat.
But only a 1 count. You're going to have to do so much more than that.
I mean, I was going to say it's almost like they're inhuman, but what would you class the bad seed and Bo Carter as? Would you classify them as human?
I'd class them as from your deepest, darkest fears manifest.
I can certainly agree with you on that.
Look at him raking the eyes, which is big of him since he's got about 6 eyes on his face.
I mean, that's what I mean, where does the referee stand on that one? If someone, I mean, if he's got more eyes, is it specifically 2 that are illegal to poke? Or
no, it's just more illegal. Obviously more illegal. Come on, man, think about it. An eye's an eye. Oh! And he's crushed him in that corner.
He's just cradling Aiden Sparks' head as he feeds him directly to that diving forearm from Nate Sawyer. And Bo Carter.
It's Bo Carter's turn just to get a 1 count. Look at that. It looks like neither of these teams are ready to concede any kind of defeat.
Posty's still a little bit upset about the shenanigans outside earlier on.
The referee needs to keep him in check.
Certainly does.
He is not the legal man of the match, and yet he keeps leaning over those ropes. Big uppercut.
Absolutely wiped Aiden Sparks out there trying to put the fire out.
Somebody needs to check the back row for his teeth. Speaking of teeth.
Yeah, right now.
Looks like Bo Carter's teeth were dug straight into his forehead. Teeth, I understand, that haven't been brushed in about 16 years.
That wouldn't surprise me in the slightest. Does that count as a tag? I mean, I'm sure it was.
I mean, he made contact with him in some way. It definitely counts.
I mean, it's not like I'm going to go up there and argue the point with them. You know, I want to be as far away from these humanoids as possible. But running senton from the bad seed.
The bad seed planting Aiden Sparks.
And right now he's just got both thumbs around the windpipe of Sparks.
And he's now mocking the referee in his count. This is why you can't put these two people in a civilized sporting contest. They're not civilized, Damo. They're not civilized. And I've got to respect it.
Sometimes you got to go outside of the box, and these people are most definitely outside of the box.
Oh, come on, look at Posty Malone once again trying to get himself involved in this match.
Never mind Posty Malone, that was Matt Maxwell on the other side again. Just
don't know what you're talking about, didn't see it.
I mean, to be honest, I have no idea why Matt Maxwell was trying to get involved there. I mean, it must be just because he can. Because if he's got these two absolute monsters, these demons, these golems, at his behest, why would he need to get involved himself? He could just sit back and watch and enjoy the carnage.
Because sometimes sitting back and watching is not enough. Sometimes you can only get the enjoyment out of being a part.
And that double drop kick from Aiden Sparks with his legs apart.
Looks like he's sparking back to life.
It certainly does.
And he's crawling now, crawling over to the corner. He's got him in.
Posty Malone is in.
Posty Malone is angry.
He certainly is.
Big.
Massive drop kick.
Now where's he going?
The second rope. He's going in for the airmail. And it touches down perfectly. But the grind, it's not enough to keep Bo Carter down.
Of course it's not. He's going to need to do more than that. He's going to have to go up to another top rope. You're going to need another rope.
I'll be honest with you. I think if my memory serves me correct from the last time I heard the name Nate Sawyer, another rope may indeed be available, but you do not want the Grindhouse to bring it here. Or maybe you do, I don't know. I suppose it depends how many traumatized children you want here in Wakefield. Double drop kick from Posty.
And he's going straight back to that cover on Bo Carter. And it's still not enough. Look at Posty Malone. He's scrambling now. He wonders what it is he's got to do to keep these monsters down.
And how do you combat that? How do you combat a Bo Carter? How do you combat a Nate Sawyer? How do you combat anyone who's been programmed by the mind of Maxwell?
I'll tell you how you combat them. By running away. Getting as far away from them as you can.
Strategic retreat. But Posty as
look at that. He sparked him right where the sun don't shine.
Yeah. I think that was somewhat of a genital cuff there.
That was what a genius would call a punch up the bracket. Oh!
And
that big spike to the throat.
And the side Russian leg sweep combination and the Grindhouse have put the tag team division here on notice.
Look at the punishment that they sustained during this match, only to come out on top with a devastating combination finishing maneuver.
The spike to the throat and the whiplash effect of that side Russian leg sweep.
And now it looks like he's directing traffic because someone's still standing. And that is not enough for the Grindhouse.
Certainly isn't. They're going to make sure they take absolutely every... Posty below him with a save. Was in there with a first-class stamp.
That finally seems to have been enough to keep Bocana down. Well, it looks like the fire still burns in this team.
It certainly does. The Grindhouse will be back.
Let's not forget here, they might be standing right now. They might have survived, but they didn't win. Your winners this evening are the Grindhouse. Whatever Maxwell has cooked up for these boys, these men, these demons, these monsters, I'm sure it's going to come to fruition in time.
I just got back from travelling to Brazil, training jiu-jitsu in the motherland, hiking 4 hours up a mountain to see Christ the Redeemer. And you know, underneath that statue, they've got a little prayer room. And whilst I must admit I've never exactly been religious, I was overcome by spirituality while I was there. And I went into that prayer room and I did something I've never done before. I bowed my head and I spoke to God. And you know what? God spoke back to me. He did. Because I asked him what I should be doing with my life and how I should best be serving him. And he said, Dante, you're already doing it. You, Dante, are special. That's why you're the new British Promotions champion. And I said, Lord, thank you. But I'm stuck with a dilemma here because this Saturday, 22nd of March, I'm in a triple threat match. In order to continue doing your work and keep this title, I'm going to have to beat up and possibly maim 2 of your creations. And God said to me, Dante, don't even sweat it. You, my son, are my divine creation. You are exactly what you're supposed to be. Tommy Rocker, on the other hand, let's just say I was having an off day when I knocked him out. And young Horace, I don't even think that was my creation. I think that's straight from Satan. And the Lord God gave me permission to beat the living snot out of both of those guys and go on and continue to do his work and retain this title. And that is exactly what I intend to do this Saturday.
Dante, Dante, Dante. You had one job. You had one job and you couldn't even do that. All you had to do was give me a one-on-one match. A fair fight. Me versus you for the new British Promotions Championship. And you couldn't even do that. You couldn't take the opportunity that was literally presented to you to prove that you are the champion that you claim to be. No. You had to get your little weasel, Mr. Lee, to add stipulation to factor, to issue, to problem, to obstacle, everything possible to stand in my way. So you could have actually proven that you were the champion that you claim to be. You claim that God has given you this as a destiny, that this is his grand design. You're having a laugh, surely. Because the only grand design at play here is everything Mr. Lee has had going on in the background. all of the little strings that he's pulled like a little puppet master to get your way and to get his way. And I think it was quite ironic, really, that it would put me up against Shawal the Great one more time when he's already seen me pin him 1, 2, 3 on the mat. even Mr. Lee knew that I had no obstacle in my way, that I was going to run through Shawal, and just as I was about to beat him once more, Mr. Lee got involved. So he probably thought that whatever he did, no matter what action he took, he was invincible. He couldn't be touched. But no, referee James Ayrton, thank you very much. Because without you, I wouldn't have been facing Dante that evening. And Dante, all you had to do was prove to me and prove to everybody watching that you really are a fighting champion. That maybe this was your destiny. But no, you had to get John Allens involved. You always had a contingency, because you knew that I would never accept your proposal, that I would never join Project Mayhem. For as long as I'm breathing, I will not tarnish my name. I will not tarnish the reputation I have with the people at New British Promotions, the people that pay every single month to come and watch me. I do it for all those people. So on Saturday at Ryhill, it's going to be me and you with Tommy Rocker in the mix. A 3-way dance. And I couldn't be more grateful, because that means that it's going to be no disqualification. And that means, Dante, that you're going to get everything that you deserve, everything that you have coming to you. And I'm going to walk out the New British Promotions champion and finally give all of these people what they want.
So this is a 3-way dance, and it is indeed our first title match of the evening.
We're bringing out one big man.
Oh yes, this is possibly one of the strongest. I mean, look at the physique on the guy. And he's representing the, I believe he's representing the Poison Panthers as well, if my memory serves me correctly.
All I know is that Tommy Rocker is one of the well-travelled veterans of the show. He seems to have the fans' admiration. And to be honest with you, with what he's done, where he's been, it's no shock.
I first had the pleasure of seeing Tommy Rocker wrestle on T-side, and I'd heard a lot about him beforehand. I'd seen him on a lot of posters for events that I was unfortunately unable to get to myself. But believe me, this man is indeed one that lives up to the hype. He's one. I mean, look at him. He's absolutely ripped here.
If there's one thing I will say, though, it's something I've lost a little bit of respect for him, because he's coming out here and he's pandering to this audience. The last time I saw Tommy Rocker, this man was being ruthless. This man was being aggressive. He has that all deep down inside of him, and right now he's choosing to pander.
Yeah, I mean, you could call it pandering. You could call it just enjoying the popularity.
Forget popularity. Forget the popularity. You want the championships. That's what everybody's here for. Forget about slapping hands. Forget about making people cheer. Do what you've got to do to walk out with the gold around your waist.
Speaking of gold, this our next competitor here, young Horace, is carrying with him the memorial title to Ian Cotter. This title's not on the line in this match. This is a memorial to a very close friend of wrestling in Yorkshire in general, and it's carried out and displayed proudly by young Horace, who won a tournament to gain it.
And young Horace obviously out here tonight to add to that collection. Displaying one championship proudly. And he's going to add more gold to his shoulder if he can get through Tommy Rocker and the current champion.
I've heard he's booked his flights back tonight with an extra space for baggage.
Well, I think he might have been over-promising himself there.
He's fairly confident about this one. Again, he's a big fan favourite here.
He's definitely a talented young man. No doubt about that. But he's not as talented as the man who's about to step through the curtain. Once again, representing Project Mayhem. In fact, not just representing, but leading Project Mayhem. Dante Durden is not only your new British Promotions champion, he's the man that leads the most dominant faction in new British Promotions.
I think the Panthers might have something to say about that, but then again, the gold does speak volumes.
The gold tells you everything about this man, because look what he's doing. He's coming out to the ring and he's not pandering. He's not slapping hands. He's not trying to get everybody to cheer for him. But he's the one who holds the gold that matters in this match. And he's got the statistician on his side. And
he's also got a kendo stick with him, which is somewhat unnerving. I don't know if that's a foreshadowing of things to come, but Dante Durden.
You're not suggesting Chekhov's kendo stick, are you?
Potentially.
So he's not asking for respect, he's commanding it. And all he's got to do is put these two men away.
And I believe this is an elimination match as well, so he's got to have a bit of stamina about him.
That's right, we are under three-way dance rules. This is no triple threat match. This is not one fall to a finish.
There must be a decisive winner at the end of this, and that winner will be that survivor of this. Because I can tell this is going to be an endurance battle right here between these three. The survivor will walk out with the gold.
And that survivor is very, very clearly going to be Dante Durden. Project Mayhem is keeping their gold, that's my prediction. He's going to do it by pinning both of these men right here, right now.
Yeah. It's a very difficult one to call this from my point of view, because you've got speed and technical wizardry with young Horace there. You've got pure strength, power, and pretty good technical knowledge with Tommy Rocker. And then you've got Dante Durden, who has proven himself as champion here by any means necessary, thanks to and he feels the need to have Mr. Lee and a Kendall stick out there with him. I don't know if that speaks to a potential lack of confidence.
A lack of confidence. Come on, Damo. We know he's not unconfident. He doesn't need that kendo stick, and dare I say, he doesn't even need Mr. Lee. He has them there because they're a comfort. He has them there because he can.
So we'll see how this one plays out, but Mr. Lee got himself involved in the Shawal the Great match earlier on. And caused Dan Domain to snap.
That's because that man had no mental fortitude. All it took was one choke slam for him to go mental.
And tonight, I mean, I don't know if this is going to be a running theme between the members of Project Mayhem here.
Hang on.
But right now,
this is every man for himself. What are they doing?
Well, it's every man for himself, and they get to choose well, I suppose if two of them decide to team up, they get to choose their opponent for the last portion of this match.
They just muscled him into the air.
Double suplex. And Dante Durden heads to the outside.
Let's just go for a quick strategy break. That's all this is. And see, this is, I told you earlier on, I told you with Strap. You can't see the face, you can't trust him. Young Horace tried to turn on Tommy Rocker the minute his back was turned.
Oh! And I think that back just got broken.
Big power slam from the much bigger Tommy Rocker.
And young Horace just, the velocity with which he went into those ropes, but again, the speed and the finesse. Got to stick and move. If you're at a size disadvantage, like young Horace, you need to keep on your target.
Going up to that middle rope, but he hasn't seen Durden.
No, and Durden sends Horace into the top rope neck first, and sends Tommy Rocker shoulder first into that steel post.
And if you look, Tommy Rocker's already got a strap on one shoulder. Now the other shoulder's just been injured by the post.
And Mr. Lee, oh, come on. Seriously.
What? He was just looking, he was checking on him, he was making sure his shoulder was all right.
Yeah, you got to try and tell me that was a deep tissue massage.
That's exactly what that was. Thank you for reminding me what it was called. Look, he's keeping a respectful distance.
And again, come on. There was nothing ambiguous about that. Look,
well, see, no,
I can't believe what I'm seeing here.
All he did there was got in between the shoulder blades. That's all it was. It was just a little bit of a massage. Obviously, if his shoulders are in pain, that's going to help him out.
Absolutely disgraceful from Project Mayhem. Meanwhile, in the ring, young Horace absolutely decapitated with that clothesline run. Mr. Lee continues to attack Tommy Rocker on the outside.
Don't pay any attention to what's going on the outside of the ring. You need to pay attention to what's happening on the inside, as Dante Durden is trying to break the arms of young Horace.
He's got him stretched out like a butterfly there. He's, again, just
providing support from the outside is Mr. Lee.
Yeah, there's support, and then there's this. This goes beyond support. Tilt-a-whirl slam on Horace from Durden in the ring. Tommy Rocker's just been absolutely annihilated by Mr. Lee in there. But
I don't know what you're talking about. He's not done anything wrong. Tried to help him to his feet there, and all he did was fall over. Big snapmare in there. And a kick to the back.
And one to the front as well. Ah, there we go. On the outside, Tommy Rocker has just dropped Mr. Lee. One solid right hand.
Completely uncalled for.
That's what you call a receipt, son.
No, I think that's what you call 2 feet to the face of Tommy Rocker. And now, setting him up in position. Big kick to the face.
And in that braced position as well, that neck braced position.
And that's it for what?
Yep. It's not enough to put Horace away.
And young Horace is showing some resilience here. It's not going to be enough to keep him in this match because he's going to get stretched out.
And that
his spine is going to get snapped. Well, Durden's taking care of Tommy Rocker as he tries to get back in the ring. Smart strategy there. Try and keep him on the outside.
But young Horace on the other side there, he's got a little bit of time to breathe, which is not going to work out well for him. Because you know that when Horace gets that oxygen in his lungs and it starts flowing, the adrenaline starts flowing through his veins.
And that's why he's cutting it straight back off.
Almost a delayed sleeper hold there, which kind of resembled a sling blade, but just in slow motion. And now he's just hanging. Just
look at that.
Young Horace being hung in one corner, and Mr. Lee into the steel post. Absolutely wiped out by Tommy Rocker on the outside. As I said, that is a big receipt.
Absolutely abhorrent behaviour by Tommy Rocker. That man is just here to support Dante Durden.
But notice how Dante Durden he left young Horace alone to go and take care of the other guy on the outside, Tommy Rocker, who was attacking the head of Project Mayhem, Mr. Lee.
Just trying to protect his friend. That's all he's doing.
I know. Right now, I'm kind of seeing this as a game of chess, and Dante Durden is protecting his king at all costs.
If this is a game of chess, then we're about to hit checkmate. Because he's going up top and he's going to take young Horace with him.
But Horace, again, laying in those forearms and that big kick to the side of the head.
Well, that'll rattle some teeth.
It certainly will.
And what's Horace up to here?
He's got something planned. And Hurricane Rana just spiked Dante Durden head first into the corner of the mat.
It's more like a Frankensteiner.
Up, and a monkey flip to follow up.
Well, that's going to mess with his equilibrium.
It certainly is. Taking the knees out. If in Shining Wizard, or Shining Pharaoh, if you will, from young Horace.
If he can get the cover, then well, what happens if he gets pinned now? Well, we don't have to worry about that.
No. Tommy Rocker makes a save. I mean, this is an elimination match, surely.
No, you see, this is actually a very, very smart decision on the part of Dante Durden, because he's just been planted. He's been working young Horace down to the bone throughout this match, and now he's suffered another big blow. If he can get rid of Tommy Rocker, then young Horace will be easy pickings for the win.
And it looks like he may have just done that with that Dante's Inferno slam. But he's losing his cool. Dante Durden is losing his cool.
Mr. Lee needs to talk some sense back into him. He needs to bring him back down to earth, because he's so close to winning. He's so close to retaining that new British Promotions Championship.
Spine buster! Beautiful spine buster. And Mr. Lee again interjecting.
The thing is, this is a no disqualification. There's nothing he could do about it. Well, hang on a minute. Who's that?
Aiden Sparks, and I think there's a little bit of history here between Aiden Sparks and Mr. Lee as well.
Referee. Aiden Sparks has nothing to do with this match. Get him out of here.
He's running him out of the building. Mr. Lee is out of the building. Aiden Sparks.
This is ridiculous. He has a valid license to be a manager.
Oh, he's at the moment. It looks like he's too busy running away.
Oh!
Durden. Now that. What?
Well, hang on a minute. That was.
All 3 sets of shoulders were down on that maneuver.
Well, who's the winner here then?
I don't know. All 3 sets of shoulders were down. James has got some work to do here.
Well, I don't think there's anything in the rule book about that one. Well, looks like they're fighting over a championship. But who's the champion right now?
From my vantage point, it looked like all 3 sets of shoulders were down.
This is not how you settle a champion. You can't do it by who's the loudest in the audience for who. Not in a holiday park.
But one thing's for certain though, whether or not the other 2 lost at the same time, Dante Durden lost.
Except, he's the one holding the championship right now. The possession is 9/10 of the law. And that is why Mr. Lee is the brains of the outfit. Quite rightly, he points out that as it's a draw, the championship cannot change hands.
I suppose he's going to clutch at straws.
There are no straws being clutched at right here. Those are very clearly in the rules. The championship cannot change hands by disqualification. It cannot change hands by count out, and it cannot change hands under a draw.
There's absolute confusion here in the arena.
Do you know what? For the first time tonight, I'm going to congratulate the referee on making the right call there.
I mean, all 3 sets of shoulders were down. Everybody lost. But technically, if that's...
And yet, everybody lost, but only one person won. Because the winner has the championship, whether he pinned anybody or not.
That is it. Nothing was settled. Nothing was settled here tonight. These 3 all have a valid claim.
Well, and I'm sure that if they take that to the right people, we may see these 3 in a ring one more time.
And I can't wait, to be honest, because that was epic. This is indeed a historic moment in New British Promotions Wrestling. With our first ever women's match.
With our first ever women's competitor in New British Promotions making her way to the ring.
And she's someone that I believe you're familiar with, Simon, from your days travelling up and down the country. You may have invested in her a little bit.
That's correct. I have seen Scarlett wrestle across the northeast and of course the northwest as well, making a name for herself in the northern British wrestling scene.
And right now she's landed here in Wakefield, and she's brought a little bit of an attitude with her.
Well, this is an attitude that she carries with her everywhere she goes. It's the attitude of knowing how good she is and what she can do when she steps between those ropes. She won't just hit you hard in the face. She'll think about it beforehand. Every hit, every strike is measured. Everything that she does is calculated within that ring. What you're about to witness is women's wrestling excellence. And it's for the first time in New British Promotions.
And I'm really looking forward to this one. I'm really looking forward to this one. We'll see what Scarlett can do against her up and coming opponent. Malika is a product of the Dutch Courage Gym in Lincoln, very much linked to Fight Factory Wrestling, and Becca and Hayden down there doing a fantastic job. And it's the same school that gave the world Will Cruz, the same school that was endorsed by old Chick Cullen back in the day.
Quite the pedigree in the school that she's come from then.
Very much so. So she's giving up a little bit in size and potentially power, and quite possibly experience between the ropes. But the mental game, the psychological game, is most definitely going to be strong, and the heart is going to be there. It's something that you see from all of the tradies from Fight Factory Wrestling in Lincoln, and it's great to see them stretching out here to New British Promotions and indeed making history of being part of the first women's match in New British Promotions.
Well, that's the thing, this is a history-making moment. A first-time meeting between these two competitors, which means these two don't know anything about each other. This means they've got to feel each other out. They've got to get to know each other in this ring.
Yeah, they're both starting off on an equal footing against each other, so to speak, and in the way of being able to form a game plan. But right now, I don't know if Malik is going to fall for this.
Oh, come on, it's just a display of sportsmanship.
Offering the handshake, but now there we go, pie-faced with the other hand. Again,
She slipped, that's what it was.
You never take a left-handed handshake. But look at this, just pressing that foot into the throat of Malika.
She's going to try and press the air out of her at every single point in her body. Through the ribs, through the chest, then through the throat. And now she's squashing what was left of that air out of her with the back elbow.
Massive impact with that back elbow, and going in for it again. Oh no, big splash in the corner. And Scarlett is exerting her power and exerting her will. But Malika,
she's showing her experience. She's got the experience edge over Malika,
and
who right now isn't quite sure what to do with her opponent.
Up, If in doubt, escape. And was almost a quick roll up there. Couldn't quite get the leg hook in the correct position, but rolling through with that arm hooked in that maestral cradle. And again, I think Malika may need to use a little bit of the speed and finesse that she's been taught, but
Look at that.
Speed and finesse is no match for a 2 feet of Scarlett to the spine.
Absolutely denied her. Going in for something you taught quite early on in your training. Try and trip up your opponent. But Scarlett had that scouted.
Yeah, for every attack, Scarlett has got a possible count. Has got a possibility of counters to choose from. A plethora of counters to choose from.
Look at her just showing the audience how much more dominant she is than her opponent. She could keep her there all day if she wanted to.
Just wiping her feet on Malika. Trying to use her as a doormat.
This is what I've always liked about Scarlett. She doesn't care if you respect her. But she has no respect for you. All she wants to do is get in there, dominate, win.
Oh, but she took a little bit too much time arguing with the crowd there and ended up on the receiving end of 2 arm drags. A drop kick to the knee. An arrow to the knee. And one to the head.
Glancing blow, but she seems to have got enough of it.
Yeah, didn't quite get all of it, but got enough of it to ring the bell of Scarlett.
Now she's trying to ring the bell on those turnbuckles. Come on, referee, get in there.
From pillar to post. That's 3. Is she going to make the quartet? Nope. Denied the lap of honor. German suplex by Malika. Again, that power on display here.
That should be all.
It should be. But Malika has got too much heart to let that get it down.
But heart's only going to get you so far. Heart's not going to get you a victory. Heart might get you back into the fight when you're down, but it doesn't guarantee that you're going to take advantage. So Scarlett is now going to do what Malika could not, and she is going to slam all 4 of those turnbuckles with Malika's head. In fact, she's learned a lesson. She's not even going to try for the 4th.
Yeah, but Malika has got in there with a little shot to the midsection and now to the back and the back of the head, and it's just absolute buzzsaw like palm strikes to the chest and midsection.
This referee has been very biased. He was counting whenever Scarlett had her on the ropes, but Malika being in the corner and keeping her there.
Scarlett out of the way. And
see, this is my point. Immediately starts counting. Just rubbing her face across the top rope. Friction burns right to the eyes. If you can't see, you can't fight.
That's very true. It's not exactly the most sportsmanlike strategy they're going, but
I've got to say, Malika there redirecting her momentum. She didn't want to go to that corner.
Yeah, she
so
knew
she
what
went
was
to the
coming.
ropes.
Again, unorthodox offense. This is something that, again, it all depends what you've been taught in your training, where you've come through. That unorthodox offense, the ability to switch your momentum when needed and throw your opponent's game plan off.
It was smart, but it didn't last for long because one clothesline was all it took to keep her down.
And a hip toss from Malika. And a drop kick to the back. And now the fans here in Wakefield firmly behind Malika. Going in for a fisherman suplex. Oh, nice. And the bridge as well. But only 2.
Scarlett absorbed that punishment, but she wants to come back in this fight. She's going to have to do it quickly.
That fisherman suplex was a thing of beauty. But right now, raking the eyes in the face of Malika.
Now going back onto the attack. Absolutely wearing her out the corner. And big hip attack.
Absolute whiplash effect on the neck of Malika.
But she's not done.
And again.
She's not going to stop until she's crushed her into the corner.
Back to the well one more time. That's 3 massive hip attacks. Just rattling the skull of Malika. And a DDT to the leg.
See, this is smart offense. She's taken out the head. Now she's going to go for the leg. If you noticed early on, she was also working with her arm over the ropes. She's trying to pull out every single one of her limbs, one by one.
This is almost a surgical dissection here. And beating in those forearms to the chest. Now kick to the side of the head, the ear of Malika. That's going to really affect the equilibrium.
And just when you think you know what Scarlett's going to do next, she changes the game. And that flipping face buster there, that's going to be all she wrote.
And Malika out at 2. They're still fighting the last yet.
Well, Scarlett looks beside herself. She needs to keep her composure. She needs to put this rookie away.
And again, just trading blows. Back in the corner.
Smart move there, going for the eyes again.
Up on the shoulder. What's Scarlett got in mind here?
Guess we'll never know.
Quick roll up. But again, Malika pulls it out of the bag. Scarlett took too much time gesturing and posturing to the audience. Malika slipped off the shoulders and rolled up Scarlett.
Well, that was an upset.
Hey, the most dangerous move in pro wrestling is the roll-up. It only takes 3 seconds and it guarantees victory.
Scarlett is not happy. And she's absolutely right not to be happy. That was ridiculous. I think that was a fast count from the referee.
And right now, she's certainly showing her disapproval of referee James.
Rex Heartless, you can look at that I've just thrown over my head and you can think on that, because that's what's going to happen to you this Saturday, 22nd of March, Rycroft Sports and Social. Now, I'm not entirely sure who you've beaten to get a shot at the British Wrestling Federation champion. Me, the juggernaut John Allens, I ain't been paying that much attention to you. But this Saturday you can bet that my entire focus is going to be just on you and your stupid, bald, ugly face. And I'm going to show you why I'm the champ and you're not.
John Allens, the juggernaut, the creator of the Manly Man Challenge. John Allens, the wall of mates, the big boy, and guess who else is a big boy? Yeah, that's me, ain't it, man? Yeah. I'm coming to Ryhill on the 22nd of March, and I'm going to slap the up and down that ring, you know, like you did with Doris at Bingo Wall. Right laugh, that one. Anyway, I'm not about belts, I'm not about gold. I just need a new tool belt. So I'll sit in here, John. Do it!
We've seen the new British Promotions Championship defended. Later on tonight, we will have the British Wrestling Federation Championship defended. in our main event this evening.
I think Gavin may have partaken a little bit in the refreshments from the bar here in Wakefield.
Very, very possibly.
I can't blame them, to be honest. They do a nice pint of Wingman. And that championship match for the British Wrestling Federation Championship is coming up right now.
Oh, my mistake. You changed the card around on me. Was this you? You did that. Trying to embarrass me.
Well, you know, sometimes you got to pull a few strings in this one. Sometimes you got to pull a few strings. And right now we have a real man's challenge. And this man right here, he's not just a real man. He is Mama's favorite monster, Rex Heartless.
I find it very ironic that competing in a real man's challenge, we got a man who was threatening to hide behind his own mother. Is she here tonight? He was trying to bring him back up for his mum.
I'll be honest with you, I would be very careful about what you say about his mother, as he will hold you extremely accountable. He may just send you into liquidation.
Well, if Mama Heartless is here tonight, she tries to pick a fight with Mr. Lee. He's not afraid to show her what for.
Speaking of Mr. Lee, he's going to be leading out our BWF champion, the Juggernaut John Allens.
Interesting story behind Juggernaut John Allens, picking up that championship after Mikey Andrews was stripped of it. And quite rightly, I might add, because now that championship is with the last real man in British professional wrestling.
Well, it is on paper, but you've got a landlord there who never lost the title, and I can't see that sitting well with him for very much longer.
Accompanied by Mr. Lee and adorned as the most dangerous weapon, that big chain. That's come in handy more than once for Mr. John Allens. You give a Juggernaut a chain and he can cause some real damage.
Most definitely. I mean, you could almost call that Herculean in style.
He's definitely Herculean in strength.
There may very well be some walls coming down here tonight.
That cameraman wants to be out of the way.
He certainly does.
He almost had his head taken off.
You can see that Juggernaut is, as part of Project Mayhem, he's certainly not endearing himself to the crowd here in Wakefield.
What I like about Project Mayhem, they have all the gold.
Gold across two promotions, sat firmly in the camp of Project Mayhem.
More specifically, Mr. Lee.
That's very true. I mean, like I said, what goes on between the ears of Mr. Lee? And I have no idea.
That's because his intelligence levels transcend yours, Damo. Don't try and figure out what you will never understand.
Those cogs are turning constantly. But Rex Heartless here doesn't seem to be too intimidated. But it's very rare that you would see the Juggernaut giving up a little bit of a height advantage.
Well, these two competitors are going to be very, very evenly matched in the strength department. Neither man a slouch.
They certainly are. I mean, they are fairly evenly matched. I mean, what the Juggernaut gives up in height, he's got a bit more in girth and bulk.
Will certainly help that centre of gravity.
Rex Heartless, on the other hand, fairly lean, or relatively lean, but he's still a massive threat to that title.
A massive threat who doesn't seem to be taking this seriously whatsoever. Look at him.
Oh, he's just relaxing there. He's not allowing the Juggernaut to get into his head.
Although you did see him lash out at Mr. Lee not just 2 minutes ago.
To be fair, he deserves it though.
How dare you?
There we go. And the lock-up. And again,
a real man's lock-up.
The Juggernaut is getting the best of it at the moment. Are we going to see a clean break?
No, you're going to see a real man's break.
But I think that may have just annoyed Rex more than anything else.
What makes you think he's annoyed?
I think he's just feels a little bit disrespected by that double chop of the chest on the break.
Here we go.
Again, and now Rex Heartless getting the better of it this time.
And that's why, because he's pulling his hair. He's pulling his hair.
Return the favour. Return the favour with that little tap to the chest. What's good for the goose is good for the gander. And what's good for the Juggernaut is good for Mama's favourite monster.
Hang on, he can't pull his hair. He's got no hair on his head.
He's got hair on his chin. Didn't think of that, did you? I mean, Mr. Lee didn't think of that either. Otherwise, he would have probably had the Juggernaut doing it by now.
How dare you? How dare you assume that Mr. Lee had not considered some variable?
Well, you never know. His calculations might be off slightly after his...
They're never off, Damo, and you know it.
Well, we'll see about that, and we'll see what happens here in this match. The Juggernaut's doing a lot of talking, and Rex just sat there. That what?
See, here's what he's trying to do. He's trying to get him into a real man's test of strength.
The old Greco-Roman knuckle lock. And again, just strength.
It's like two bulls locking horns here.
It certainly is. And you can see the
grimace there on Rex Heartless.
Again, a little bit of a shortcut from the Juggernaut.
A real man shortcut.
Yeah,
I mean, kick. Real man kick. How dare you?
A real man's cheap shot's what that was. And mind you, that was real man's Irish whip into the buckle. And the velocity that Rex Heartless came out of that corner with.
We're starting to get it now.
And again, but using that velocity to wipe out the Juggernaut with a lariat. The difference between a clothesline and a lariat, my friend. That was a lariat. And now the Juggernaut doesn't know where he is. He's Mr. Lee is having to guide him back to the ring. He's still seeing stars. Heartless. And Mr. Lee's already found himself on the receiving end of some punishment tonight. He wants none of Rex Heartless.
That cheap shot by Rex Heartless didn't work out well for him there, did it? Tries to come at him from behind, but look who's in control. Okay, maybe not.
Yeah, Rex Heartless again out of the way of the chop, and was taken over while the hand of the Juggernaut.
Come on, that's a disqualification, surely. Mr. Lee very rightly asking the referee to intervene here, and he's not.
Well, you know, I mean, there's a little element of leniency here. It is a title match after all. We want a decisive victor.
A little element of bias, perhaps.
I couldn't possibly comment.
I could. He's biased. Oh!
Swept from the outside. The legs swept from out of under the Juggernaut from the outside. John Allens has just met with a massive clothesline. And another, oh, nope, he's lining him up.
Looked like he had it goozled there.
Certainly did. But just a straight soup ball of a right hand.
They heard it on that post, but not enough to make it ineffective. And now, a real man has the advantage.
Yeah, and look, Mr. Lee again getting involved.
He was just making him check the ropes, that's all it was.
He could have done that without the use of Rex Heartless's throat.
Perhaps, but that's the most effective way.
And Rex Heartless now in with the boots to the midsection.
And again, I notice how this referee has stopped counting.
You may have to take that up with the Ayrton family. He's a second-generation referee. And right now, again, oh, come off it. Look at this, absolute disgrace. Absolutely disgraceful again from Project Mayhem.
At some point, you're just going to have to concede that Mr. Lee is smarter than everybody else in the room.
And he's going to have to concede that he's not doing enough to ensure that Rex stays down for the 3 count. Whether via instruction to John Allens or via outside interference.
I don't think it really matters what Mr. Lee's doing right now. What matters is what's going on inside the ring. What's going on is John Allens dominating. The Juggernaut laying down fire in the corner, right to the midsection.
Just chopping through the middle of that redwood. Rex again had it scouted. Oh, they got rolled up. See, that very nearly had a new British Wrestling Federation champion.
Nearly, but not nearly enough. And all it took was one of those big manly arms to keep Rex Heartless back down on the mat.
You can see the leg strength. I mean, this says something about the leg strength of John Allens there. When the amount of effort it took for Rex Heartless to get him in that position initially. And right now, all of the strength and the weight of the Juggernaut is around the neck of Rex Heartless, along with a fish hook to the face as well. Completely unnecessary.
You can see him there just trying to cut off the oxygen flow.
Yeah, I mean, Rex Heartless is changing colour there. He's
going beet red.
he almost matches the part of the pattern. He wants to match the part of the pattern on his trousers. Oh, double clothesline, both men feeling the effects from that one.
Right now, if he wants a chance to retain that championship, he needs to get back on his feet. The Juggernaut needs to gain his momentum back. But it looks like Rex Heartless, well, despite the name, is showing some heart.
He certainly is. But we're getting, I mean, the referee's up to 5 now. We're getting closer to almost a count out for one of these here. But nope. Back to the knees, and
that's breaking the count. Now it looks like they're going to try and break each other's face.
it certainly does, like back and forth. But this
now we're going to see who's got a glass jaw.
slow but effective. You can see the measured strikes as they're getting their oxygen back. Just neither man wants to give any ground at all. And Heartless blocks again and in with a headbutt.
I'm not sure how smart that was. Through all the offense to the head, trying to go for a headbutt.
In off the ropes, he's got him goozled. Mr. Lee is up on the ropes again.
Mr. Lee's actually in the ring, and he's hit him.
The referee, again, letting it go, but it looks like Mr. Lee's going for a ride. And there it is. Heartbreak chokeslam.
Why did the ref not stop that?
But
why didn't he stop him from being chokeslammed?
He's getting rid of, he's taking out Mr. Lee, but in the...
And that's the great equalizer right there. The manliest equalizer. 2, 3.
So a real man's man has to resort to using a chain and a distraction in order to retain his title.
He didn't resort to anything. He distracted himself, did Rex Heartless. Because he focused on the wrong man. He should have been focused on the man in the ring. And that's why we still have a real man as the BWF champion.
The actions of Project Mayhem here tonight have been absolutely disgusting. And this is just another one on the rap sheet.
Disgusting, you call it. Effective is what I say.
I'm not doubting its effectiveness, but I would still class them as absolutely disgraceful.
All I've seen here tonight is that Mr. Lee is willing to take a bullet for his man. A valiant leader.
A valiant leader, but also seemingly somewhat of a cult leader in Project Mayhem.
Well, if he's a cult leader, somebody get me the Kool-Aid because I want to join him.
I believe they sell it at the bar here in Wakefield.
Look at that bad sportsmanship. What a sore loser he is. Juggernaut was just going over there to shake hands. Trying to show some respect, probably.
I mean, to be fair, he's just had his opportunity at the title taken away from him under extremely questionable circumstances.
Nothing questionable about this. All we know is that the real man is the real winner.
You notice he didn't even go back to the locker room. The Juggernaut, he's straight out of the door. He's in his car and he's away. He turned up, did his job and went home. But
he's not paid by the hour, Damo, come on.
But Rex Hartless is here with the fans.
You are so here's the cheese of good. He's so real man.
And questioning the manliness and indeed the tactics of Mr. Lee and John Allens.
That was just toxic.
We've got one more match here tonight, and it is going to be an epic.
This match is going to be the most dangerous match you see this evening. The fans all night have been baying for destruction. And now, in Falls Count Anywhere, it's going to be right in their lap.
It certainly is. And this man, Gunnarsson, I had a little bit of a chance to preview some of the action from the previous show. And Gunnarsson is a unit and a half.
Gunnarsson is a warrior. An honorary member as well of Project Mayhem. The strongest man in Project Mayhem.
Really? I would have thought. I thought you said that John Allens was before.
No, he's the manliest man. Though I wouldn't let Gunnarsson hear me say that too close to him.
Yeah. What about Shawal the Great? Are you happy for him to hear that you've just called another member of Project Mayhem? Or
hey, he's the muscle. He is the muscle. That doesn't mean he's not strong. But this man right here, he's just that cut above.
Tonight,
you're trying to get me in trouble.
Hey. I've done that. Hey, it's all you, sir. All you. You're the one saying these things. I'm just holding up a mirror.
You're coercing me into saying these things.
The one thing I will say is that James Mason here is indeed a legend of British wrestling. And there's a little bit of history here with an attack from a couple of shows ago. And James Mason was on the... he was in a match with Dante for the British... I do apologise, I'm losing my words here.
Put your teeth back in.
Yeah. James Mason was in a match with Dante Durden for the New British Promotions Heavyweight Championship. And Gunnarsson levied an attack on him. Which cost him that title. And right now, this is our chance for a little bit of revenge from James Mason.
Oh, careful what you wish for, Mr. Mason. You might be a legend in the British wrestling industry. But you're about to hit a wall. The second wall we've seen in Project Mayhem tonight.
Yeah, Gunnarsson with his heavy artillery there that we're expecting.
You could call him the Big Gunnarssons.
Most definitely, and he's going to be looking to unload some ammunition on James Mason. James Mason, I mean, if you've seen this man wrestle before, you will know just how technically sound and how much experience he brings to the table. Gunnarsson is going to have to pull something very special out of the bag.
Well, he wasn't pulling anything there. He was pushing him straight into the corner and showing him who's boss.
Well, I don't know. This is a little bit of it's all part of the feeling out process, this, when it comes to an actual match. I mean, it's difficult to tell what you're up against when you're being jumped from behind, but got to gauge you got to gauge your opposition's strengths. And there we go, straight into that very quick switch into the headlock by James Mason.
And if you notice, this is where a man of his caliber comes into play. He's not just snatching a headlock on and holding it there. He's grinding his forearm into the face of Gunnarsson.
But Gunnarsson taking somewhat of exception to that and now is grinding his fists into the side of the head of James Mason. There's nothing pretty about that. That's just a straight fist to the middle of the forehead. But James Mason, I think he's found his level here. And if Gunnarsson wants to drop bombs, James Mason will most definitely return fire.
Once again, careful what you wish for. He's asking, do they want some more? Well, it looks like Gunnarsson's going to be the one giving more. A double club straight into the back, into the upper back, right between those shoulder blades. Got to be careful with an area like that. If you can hit him hard enough, he can pinch a nerve, which is going to be really difficult for him to lift him up later on.
It certainly is.
And of course, the falls count anywhere aspect is now coming into play.
Yep.
As you see, the referee, all he can do is follow along. There's no countouts here.
James Mason again is rallying to the crowd, but that's giving Gunnarsson time to recover.
The last thing you want to do is go give him room to breathe.
He's not at the moment. He's,
First cover. Taking full advantage of this stipulation. The first cover of the match is outside the ring. And now those people on the merchandise table need to be worried. They've got two big boys in front of them.
They certainly have. Mason and Gunnarsson are getting a little too close for comfort there. And there's the stock of extra furniture. There's a lot of sharp edges in there and a lot of hinges.
He's trying to redecorate Gunnarsson's face.
I don't think I've ever seen that in the Book of Feng Shui, but...
and he's out the door.
It certainly is.
Well, the pins can count out there.
Exactly, falls can count anywhere. Now, we'll try and stay with this as long as we can, folks. Obviously, it's difficult to see much out there because of because it's night time.
Using the fire exit to his advantage right into the base of the leg there.
Yeah, push bar to open. I think the corner of that bar just nearly opened up the quadricep of James Mason.
It looked like it went into the lower back, right to the hip area.
That's...
he's not careful. James Mason could end up with a bit of sciatica from that.
It's certainly going to put him at a disadvantage when it comes to using the strength in certain areas of the mobility that you need to pull off some of these.
Well, he's now destroyed somebody's chair. If somebody's got to a toilet, they've got nowhere to sit when they come back.
Yeah, he's just using another chair as a necktie on Gunnarsson. There's a lot of malice in here. I don't think I've ever seen James Mason this fired up. I don't think I've ever seen him this violent.
Well, you've been talking about all the underhanded tricks tonight. James Mason seems to have been schooled in them himself.
Certainly, yeah.
But that's all it took. One kick right into the knee to change the tide of this match.
And Gunnarsson now taking a moment to breathe. Because you need that oxygen in your lungs. You need that oxygen flowing around your body. But again, you got to weigh that up against giving your opponent time to recover, and time to walk it off when it comes to...
Hang on, where's Gunnarsson going now? He's looking under the ring. Hang on. You heard him, he said it's time to score.
Yeah.
Back of the net.
Yeah.
Quite literally.
Yeah, very much, very literally.
Hang on. He's got his arm trapped in that net, and he's going to work. He's going to town. Right on the crook of the elbow.
And James Mason's hand is very badly caught in that net. It's
Now he's going for that cover.
You've got to think that
But the net was actually working against him. He couldn't pin his shoulder down. What was I saying earlier on about between the shoulder blades making it harder to lift? Now, with one elbow out of action, that could be curtains for any kind of power offense that James Mason could bring.
certainly could. We've seen that elbow absolutely dissected there in just a moment. It's like it's being rammed to a grinder.
Hang on.
But
But he hasn't taken out the feet.
baseball slide style drop kick.
This is what we've been saying all night. You can't give anybody a moment to breathe. You cannot give any kind of distance because they can recover. Big a man as Gunnison is, it looks like he hasn't learned the lessons that other people have learned tonight. Well, that was an interesting place for the cover, right on the apron.
Well, as I say, there's no rope break here, and falls do count anywhere. But look at this. James Mason tying the long hair of Gunnison around that bottom rope.
Trying to rip them right out of his head.
But again,
Just jealous because he's got no hair on his.
he was going to take some of Gunnison's.
It's going to take more than just a little bit of Gunnison's hair to make a toupee for that chrome dome. Big lariat right from the outside in.
Massive springboard lariat. Again, only enough for the two, but you could see where you mentioned the hip before and the upper leg, lower back area. You've got you could see that kick out was not. There wasn't as much behind it as you would normally expect from James Mason.
That's right, because you've got to use your hips to power up and round. It's not just lifting your shoulder off the mat. You really got to push the weight off, and that's where the power comes from the hips and the leg. If he's damaged that, it's going to really compromise his ability to kick out of even the most simple cover.
And Gunnison now taking advantage of the slower pace that he's brought to the match.
That was a big stalling double axe handle there from the Viking.
And right now, again, just stretching out the neck and throat over that bottom turnbuckle. Downward pressure on the throat.
See, what I've been really appreciating about some of the consistent offense that comes from Gunnison is when he kicked out of the pin earlier on. I don't know if you caught it.
Oh, wow, massive
we certainly
drop kick.
caught that drop kick.
Massive drop kick. But again, he's favouring that leg.
He's lifting him up by the ears. And once again,
straight uppercut, measured, well paced, drops the elbow.
Semeda's foot's on the ropes.
I think that momentary distraction from the referee there, it's James Mason's locked an armbar on from underneath, and Gunnison raking the face to escape.
Like we said, no disqualifications in this particular matchup. Oh!
Black hole slam.
Straight to the center. Wow, I'm tongue-tied now. Straight into the center of the ring.
But Gunnison has picked James Mason up. He's not finished with him.
He's holding on to him. He's keeping control. This is what I was trying to say earlier.
He could have taken the three there, but he's lifted the head and neck of James Mason up. This could be a...
And I think I see why.
Oh, here we go. Project Mayhem.
Project Mayhem are here for
Circling
retribution.
like vultures. Absolute pack of vultures.
Like you said last month, he tried to take a championship off of Dante Durdle, who's right there holding a kendo stick. Well, hang on. Well, this isn't fair.
Horace and Tommy Rocker are back.
And Mason.
Just almost put that chair straight back through the face of Shawal the Great, but that chair is now in the hands of Gunnison.
And it's right to the midsection of Mason and over his back.
Brutal.
And that's why they call him Shawel the Great, because that was a great bit of strategy right there.
And in the absence of Mr. Lee,
The two strongest men in Project Mayhem. Soundbite that bit, send that one to them.
well, they've got the rest of the show to watch there. I'm sure they'll take that up with you at our next one in Hoyland over in Barnsley.
And he's lifted him up and thrown him across that ring.
Fall away slam. James Mason absolutely rocked. Those chair shots might have done the job. But Gunnarsson,
He's measuring his man. He's measuring his man and he's telling him that it's over. What's coming next is the demise of a legend.
no. What's coming next is Face meeting Steel.
Oh!
And a lovely senton. And James Mason gets a 3 count in the center of the ring. James Mason has defeated the big gun of Project Mayhem. And a little bit of retribution.
And sadly, that's all it takes sometimes. It's only 3 seconds you've got to pin somebody's shoulders to the mat. Gunnarsson's still up. Gunnarsson's not dead. And he's kicking himself.
He is not a happy humanoid.
Hoisted by his own petard, the chair that he set up for his own offense.
He's really not happy.
And the win goes to a British wrestling legend.
Gunnarsson still wants to fight.
Referee's getting involved though, he's telling him no.
We've definitely not seen the last of this.
This is unprecedented. I've never seen the winner asked to start the match again. Gunnarsson could definitely go 5 more minutes. He could go 10 more minutes, 15, 20. Well, what disrespect. I thought better of a legend.
If he's associating himself with Mr. Lee, unfortunately he is going to be tagged with that label. And tonight, it's what's in the record book next to his name.
Well, I can assure you that we have not seen the last of Gunnarsson. And you heard it there. James Mason issuing the challenge. And it looks like Gunnarsson's accepted.
James Mason!
So we are going to see this one in the future. Gunnarsson.
And my advice is for everybody in this room to clear out right now, because otherwise Gunnarsson could be on a warpath.
Could very well be. Again, when you're in there with a legend like James Mason, when you're in there with someone with that much experience and a man who is that well skilled and that well versed in this human game of chess, you don't see it coming.
James Mason was the better man tonight, but let's see if that's the same when they meet again.
Well, that has been New British Promotions. Here in Rye Hill in Wakefield, it has been epic. We're back again in Hoyland in a few weeks' time. Keep your eyes tuned to the socials for further details. We'll see you next time. For Simon G. Money, I've been the County Durham Dream, Damien Stone. We'll see you next time.